Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Paul Pogba is staying at Manchester United. I'm glad because I have said we must not sell Paul Pogba in the summer transfer window. Paul Pogba scored the goal against AC Milan yesterday night to put us through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. By the way, we have got Granada in the quarter final. It was the first time Paul Pogba had played since the 3-3 draw with Everton, because Pogba was out with a thigh injury. Earlier on this season, he had an ankle injury and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Paul Pogba is open to staying at Man United after making a transfer U-turn and he's willing to discuss a new contract. Solskjaer suggested earlier on this season that Paul Pogba could sign a new contract, and he revealed that he's happy at the club. Pogba's under contract with Man United until June 2022 because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing. We paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Now, Mini Oriola is desperate to get his client out of the football club in the summer. Mini Oriola's been criticised a lot by Man United and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. Mini Oriola said earlier on this season that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season at Man United, and he did make an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. He made an announcement back in December regarding Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. But he has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, and his former club Juventus have been in for him. Pogba endured 4 very good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United. So that's the news on him. Now, the Europa League is Manchester United's to lose. You know, we've done well getting to the quarter-finals. You know, we got to the semi-finals of the Europa League last season. We lost 2-1 to Sevilla. And we won the Europa League back in 2017 under Jose Mourinho. We beat Ajax in the final 2-0. So yeah, we knocked AC Milan out of the last 16. Beating them 1-0 yesterday night. And it was 2-1 on aggregate over the course of the 2 legs. It was a good away performance by Manchester United yesterday night. I think the first half were a bit passive in our approach, but it was much better in the second half. But the first leg, the performance was very average by Manchester United. But we should have actually won the first leg because AC Milan scored in injury time. So they actually had the upper hand going into the second leg because they had that vital away goal. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Manchester United this year, because that marks progress. So I'm saying the exact same thing as what Gary Neville said recently. Solskjaer did say prior to the game against Milan that trophies is an ego thing. And he said clubs like Man United, trophies no longer prove success. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and a club of our stature needs to be winning trophies. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy, and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. Top 4 is our aim in the Premier League. I can assure we will finish in the top 4 now, reflecting on that 1-0 win against West Ham. But we finish second this season and we win a trophy, I'll turn around and say that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. I think Solskjaer is definitely our best manager since Ferguson, because we've enjoyed very, very good periods under him where we have seen consistency, and in some of them good periods he's got the best out of the team. But we've also enjoyed very bad periods under Ollie where you can turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. But I think he has made good progress in the last year or so, and Solskjaer does deserve a new contract. As you all know, Solskjaer has agreed to sign a new $9 million a year contract. So he's been given a pay rise. Sources at Old Trafford have already said that talks are set to begin any day on the new deal, because later on this month, Solskjaer will enter the final year of his 3-year contract. He said earlier on this season that Solskjaer's future was in doubt because he admitted that nobody had spoke to him over a new contract. And he actually said we'd wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. But I don't think Solskjaer is a long-term manager for Man United. I hope I'm wrong, but we're actually planning for a long-term future under Ole. You know, a lot of Man United fans have been demanding Solskjaer out of the club, and he has been criticised a lot as Man United manager, but there is main explanations behind it. You know, this is Solskjaer's second full season. He's been Man United manager now over 2 years. So reflecting now on he's been at the club, you know, he's learnt quite a bit on the job and he's gained some managerial experience. Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and to say that, he's done a good job at Man United. I've already told you my biggest concerns about him. But we've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in quite a few aspects. You know, he's now got us to the Europa League quarter-finals. We should beat Granada anyway. You know, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to Man City. Did well last season in his first full season at the club. Guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us third. Went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season, was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. You know, Solskjaer's made good signings. He's spent almost 300 million at the club and he's endured 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager. He's also got rid of a lot of players since he got recommended in. I also like the way that Solskjaer has promoted the youth. And more or less he's given everybody their chances, because Solskjaer said when he got appointed in as Man United manager that everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players. I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window. Because obviously we've got John Murtaugh, who's our new director of football. He's our first ever director of football, by the way. And I said we needed a director of football because it's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. And John Murtaugh knows the club inside out because he's been at Man United for like 7 or 8 years. Darren Fletcher, he's the technical director. He knows the club through thick and thin because he endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. You've got obviously Michael Carrick who's there, who's part of the club, and Carrick knows the club well. Obviously Kieran McKenna, and that's there. Solskjaer has had the transfer summit with our new recruitment team. Obviously discussed our transfer targets and our transfer plans for the summer in general. Woodward did a statement not so long ago, and he says the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward's backing Ollie. But Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Solskjaer. And he did say towards the end of last year that he'll back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And when we was enjoying them bad periods under Ollie, the vast majority of the time Woodward came out and assured that Solskjaer's job is safe. With Solskjaer being a club legend, our board have a really soft stance on him. You've probably got to turn around and say, with him being a club legend, that saved him at Man United. Because disregarding being a club legend, you can probably say he probably wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now. Solskjaer's set to have his final say on our transfer incoming deals. Our transfer budget's already been revealed for the summer. It's £80 million. A lot of Man United fans are surprised by that. £80 million is nowhere near enough for us to get the players that we want in. I think it says Solskjaer's planning to sell around 4 players in the summer to bolster our transfer budget, and he hopes to raise as much as £60 million, so that would take our transfer budget to £140 million. Man United have identified 5 key transfer targets. So we're looking to get a forward in, we're looking to get a defensive midfielder, we're looking to get a centre half in, we're looking to get a right back in, and I heard that we've been looking at a few goalkeepers. So obviously, the news on Nikola Milenkovic from Fiorentina. Gazzetta dello Sport recently said that Man United are the clear favourites to sign Nikola Milenkovic. And it mentions that we've been in negotiations with his agent. He's rejected a new contract at Fiorentina. He's valued at £30 million. Liverpool have also been interested. Nikola Milenkovic has been at Fiorentina a few years. Fiorentina got him back in 2017 from Partizan for £5 million. He can play as a centre-half and he can also play as a right-back. So would you take him at Man United? The news on Jules Koundé from Sevilla. I recently read it up. It says we've been handed a boost in our bid to sign Jules Koundé because Sevilla have reduced their asking price for Jules Koundé to £50 million. So they've knocked £20 million off because originally Sevilla wanted £70 million plus add-ons. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that we was unwilling to meet Jules Koundé's £68 million release clause, but said was prepared to pay around £61 million for him. His performances for Sevilla have been outstanding this season. He's been at Sevilla almost 2 years. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. He's under contract with Sevilla until 2024. I think he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Solskjaer has agreed with our new recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. West Ham are demanding 80 million for Rice. So if we're willing to pay 80 million, I believe West Ham will allow him to go. Earlier on this season, it said West Ham were considering lowering their asking price for Rice to £50 million. He was relentlessly linked with a move to Chelsea last year, was Declan Rice. That's obviously when Frank Lampard was Chelsea manager. Declan Rice was Frank Lampard's top target. Lampard was infuriated when he missed out on him. We're seeing Declan Rice as a long-term replacement for Matic. The main explanations I'd take Rice at Man United is because he'd dramatically improve us. He's a good player. He's well proven in the Premier League. He's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. And I like the way he breaks up the play. He's predominantly a holding midfielder, but he can also play as a centre-half. Rice has been at West Ham for like 7 years now. He's made 127 appearances in the Premier League and he's scored 4 goals. He's under contract with West Ham until 2024. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for a long time, but he never got in Chelsea's first team squad. I'd love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to sign Erling Haaland, because obviously Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer was the one that gave Erling Haaland his debut at Molde at just the age of 16. So it'd be good to see Solskjaer reunite with the player. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a move to Man United. And earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he keeps in touch with Erling Haaland. But Haaland is the type of player we need because I like the way he holds up play. Haaland creates chances, he also scores goals, and if he comes to the Premier League, I presume he will exceed expectations. He'd definitely assure Manchester United goals because we do need to be more clinical in front of goal. Dortmund are demanding in the excess of £100 million. He has a release clause, Haaland, but it doesn't become active until next year. But Haaland is our centre-forward transfer priority. Apparently he's demanding wages of £350,000 from his next club. Borussia Dortmund recently give us an update on his future. Borussia Dortmund's sporting director Michael Zorg has said that Dortmund are prioritising finishing in the top 4 in order to convince Haaland to stay. So yeah, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer warned we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. He said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson retired. We sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Moyes is the worst manager we've ever had. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. That's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years despite him winning the FA Cup. We started well under Van Gaal and it all went downhill, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. The reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players, and the board just weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in. And you can probably say as well, we did appoint Mourinho in too late. And, you know, the brand of football was poor under Mourinho. It was also poor under Van Gaal. It was turgid under Van Gaal. And it was part of the bus football under Mourinho. I hated the way Mourinho approached the big games. You know, quite a lot of the football's been boring under Ole. But there's been some games where our football's actually been very, very expansive. A lot of teams say, no, we are boring to watch. But we have made mistakes in the last 8 years. And that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. We spent over £1 billion since Ferguson left, and we've brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired. I don't know when we'll next win a Premier League title. I don't think it'll be for at least a couple of years yet. You know, we could mount a title challenge up next season, you know, if we get the right players in the summer. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. You know? Yeah, we are going to sell players in the summer, so in that aspect we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. So I think there's a good chance Edison Cavani will leave in the summer. Now, the last time I read up regarding Cavani, Solskjaer came out and said that he's closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. Prior to that, he said that Cavani's future has not been decided. His father came out the other week, Cavani's, and said that Cavani is unhappy at the club and he's not comfortable in England and wants to leave. But reports in Argentina said that Cavani wants to leave Man United after just one season, and apparently wants to join Boca Juniors on a 3-year contract. But earlier on this season, it said Cavani wanted to stay at Man United beyond this season, and Solskjaer said he was set for contract extension talks. Cavani hasn't been playing recently due to injury. Didn't obviously make the journey to Milan. But he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. We got Cavani on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. But Cavani's hold-up play is good. His movement in and out of the box is good. He scores goals and he creates very good chances. I'd like him to stay for another season. A lot of United fans are saying we need to sell Anthony Martial, because Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances, but he hasn't converted them, unfortunately. But earlier on this season, Solskjaer backed him to rediscover his form, and he said he's been impressed with his work rate. Martial's recently been out of a hip injury, and he had an injury just before that as well, and he didn't make the journey to Milan. But Martial was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. Martial has been at the club over 5 years. Juan Mata, you know, there's a good chance we'll offload him in the summer, because Juan Mata doesn't even get in our team now anyway. He's out with injury at the moment. But in the games he's been involved in, he's done well. Solskjaer said earlier on this season he's not surprised that Juan Mata's linked to a move away from the club. Earlier on this season, Mata rejected an $18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Mata's had a good career at Man United though. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Nemanja Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll sell him in the summer because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances and he can perform well, but I've always had strong reservations about him. He's always been a slow player. He's been inconsistent in a lot of his games at Man United, and plus he's ageing up. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Do you think Donny van de Beek will leave the club in the summer? Now, recent narratives have said that Donny van de Beek feels loved at Manchester United, but reports before that were saying that Donny van de Beek wants to quit Man United after one season due to lack of game time, and he wanted showdown talks with Ed Woodward regarding his future. Van de Beek didn't play against Milan, but obviously Van de Beek's now returned because not so long ago he was out with a muscle injury. Solskjaer did make an admission earlier on this season saying that Van de Beek is unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time, but promised him more game time at Manchester United. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van de Beek. We was reluctant to let him go. But we need to use him more. He's a good player. He's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. Phil Jones, I want him to leave this year because he doesn't get in our team. Phil Jones has been out of injury for over a year. This is his 10th season at the club. He's only the outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. There's a good chance that we'll sell De Gea in the summer so we can make Dean Henderson our first choice goalkeeper. Lingard, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. I think we'll be also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot permanently. So we sell them players, we'll generate a substantial amount, and that will definitely help us with our rebuilding process. But it's just good that we've got some players now back from injury. Like I said, Pogba's back. Van de Beek's back. De Gea's obviously back now. Well, he went out of injury. He was out not so long ago due to personal reasons, and not so long ago he was self-isolating. So I think the only injuries we've got now is Jones, Mata, Martial, and Edison Cavani. But we've got some very, very good players, and there's players that have really, really improved at Man United. Dean Henderson, he's done well in the games he's played in this season. You've got Luke Shaw, he's been our player of the season by far. Eric Bailly, he's done well in the games he's been involved in. Solskjaer confirmed not so long ago that we was in talks with Eric Bailly over a new contract. My only element of concern about Bailly is too injury prone, so in that aspect he's a liability. And Wan-Bissaka, I've been impressed with some of the games he's played in this season because he's done well in some games, but some games he's been quite poor. Harry Maguire, got to give him credit because he's done well in quite a few games this season. He was very, very good defensively yesterday against Milan, but so too was Victor Lindelof. Fred, aspects of his game have improved. McTominay's a decent player. McTominay is not at that level though, as we want him to be at as yet. Can he emulate that level? Pogba, I've been impressed with him. Bruno Fernandes, he's certainly made a difference in the team. He's our best player, and he's the best signing we've made since Ferguson, but I think at some point Fernandes does need a rest because we have overplayed him. Yeah, in a lot of his games at Man United he's been consistent, but there's also been quite a few games where he has looked off the pace. I don't think he was brilliant yesterday against Milan. I wouldn't say it was poor though, but just not a great performance. Marcus Rashford, He's a good player now. Rashford has got an injury, sustained it against Milan yesterday, so now he's a doubt for the game against Leicester in the Cup. Greenwood's done very, very well since he broke into the first team squad. And Cavani's made a fantastic impact. And Amad Diallo Traore, he looks a very good asset for the first team. So on my next video, I'll be giving you the preview for the Leicester Man United game in the FA Cup quarter-final. So anyway guys, everything to update you for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.